The CP Plus International Camera and Photo Imaging Show in Yokohama, Japan runs Thursday, February 27th to Sunday, March 2nd, 2025, and several sources are confident that Nikon will make a bit of a splash with some significant, and in one case at least, long-awaited announcement. We're through the first month of the year, and in the Great White North, we often say we just have to get through February because weather can be at its worst. What do you think might be on the horizon? And I don't mean in terms of a weather report, but sometimes it's hard to see through the fog to sort of what's true from pure wind, as George Orwell put it. But I've had my ear to the ground, or rather my eye to the internet, and today I'm willing to pass on some of the speculation. Hi, Ray here. It was more than 2 years ago now that fellow photographer Matt Irwin and I touched on the Z35mm f1.2 that had been on the roadmap for some time even then. The roadmap is a memory now, but a lot of people remember that mystery 35mm lens. And even though we've had the 35mm f1.4 in the interim, there's still expectation that we will see an S-line 35 and that it'll join the original 50 f1.2 and 85 to complete a 1.2 trinity. By the way, Matt's almost at 100,000 subs, so if you haven't subscribed, go check out his channel. So, from the rumors that are circulating, I want to stress that I have no solid evidence other than these rumors. I feel fairly confident that this lens will be announced at CP Plus at the end of the month. In particular, I think it'll be a superb lens for video to create good background separation, and we'd expect it to be as optically special as the 50 and 85 and the 135 f1.8 Plena. The 85 hadn't arrived at the time of that chat with Matt, and I wasn't that enthused since I had the 85mm f1.8, a great lens in its own right, but I did succumb to the 85 and I'm glad that I did. It's amazing, and I've used it a lot over the last year or so. Will I order the 35? I'm running out of trade-ins, so I guess we'll have to see. The speculation is that it'll run around $3,000 US, that is. So, like the 85, that means around $4,000 Canadian after taxes. So who knows? After the tariffs hit in, I might have to sell all my gear to buy a bunch of spinach. But how about you? Are you one of the people who've been waiting patiently or impatiently for the 35mm f1.2? As far as cameras, might the Z9 II be on the horizon? I'm not so sure. But what might a Z9 II bring? Global shutter, 30 frames per second, pre-capture RAW. Could we see any of the red features and functions? Red RAW in addition or in place of NRAW? I really have no idea. I suspect that we might have to wait a bit longer. Speaking of the red investment, a Cine style camera, again, I think it'll be a bit longer, but you never know. Where I am willing to go out on a limb is to anticipate the announcement of a line of Cine lenses. Will it be more than the already announced Power Zoom 28 to 135? I think so. Will they be Z-mount, PL? I think they'll be Z-mount. I'm not sure if this will be the intention to develop, announce, or something more definite. Or should be just pure wind. There's also been speculation that Nikon will go beyond the Z52 DX body to a more pro build, a camera like the F-mount D500. Well, I'd be very surprised if that happened this year, but you never know. I'd certainly be happy to see the expansion of the DX lens lineup, since actually my wife, has the Z52, and that's what we're recording on right now. I must say that this ultralight kit is very nice to use in this scenario on location, and both my wife and I have been enjoying the experience so far. So not just B-roll here. And the video specs, we didn't go into detail in our unboxing video, but there are a far cry from the original Z50. We now have H.265 in both 8-bit and 10-bit 4K internal recording. 8-bit 264 as well. I suppose that might come in useful in some instances. But in H.265 10-bit, you can choose from 3 tone modes: SDR, HLG, and NLOG. So using log, we can then apply NLOG curves in post-production to grade the footage, and that includes red LUTs for NLOG. Nikon gave us as a free download just last year. Now, if you aren't familiar, they include achromic, film bias bleach bypass, film bias offset, and film bias. Now, I'm particularly fond of film bias, recommended as the perfect starting point for almost any scene, which is why I'm going to use it here. And I guess we'll see what it looks like. Let me know what you think. I think that it illustrates where Nikon has been investing its resources, and it gives a pretty good signal where the company might be going. Incidentally, I've performed preliminary tests recording in 10-bit log with the Z52 for 30 minutes or so. I'm not sure how long I'll take to get through this, but I haven't had any trouble recording at room temperature when the back of the camera got slightly warm, but no warnings at all. And obviously, there's no chance of any overheating issues today. Honestly, I'd be surprised if there was any problem with 10-bit. But as I said in the unboxing video, it may be why the Z52 has a slightly larger body than its predecessor, to give a little extra breathing room. The red acquisition. It was a pretty good signal, I'd say, in regards to developments in this area. Not the first, by any means. I mean, that was a follow-up to definitive statements from CEOs that video was going to be a priority, or at least an equal interest. Has that investment paid off, do you think? I know there's some anti-video opinions out there, and they can be, shall we say, quite strident. But I won't go into that here. For myself, I'm as invested in video now as I am in my original stills career of 4 decades plus. In fact, in my latter years, starting seriously about a decade or so ago, I've probably been spending more time refining my moving picture skills. So, if the rumors are true that we'll see more examples of that investment, then I welcome it. With my dollars, I'm not entirely sure. But I'll certainly be happy to see Nikon building on the incredible video stuff that it's given us from the start. RAW over HDMI with the original Z cameras, to 8K and RAW in the Z9, then Z8 and Z6 II Z6 III I should say, last year. Well, it'll really be interesting to see what kind of hardware we might see going forward. I can't wait. And that's 35mm 1.2, oh boy. Well, I guess we'll know soon enough if that rumor bears fruit. But what's your guess? If you found these speculations interesting, please give this video a little thumbs up, and if this is your first visit, please do consider subscribing to my channel. To be honest, things are just a bit slow in YouTube land right now. Maybe it's the time of year. But sometimes the algorithm needs a nudge. It should be nice to reach 9,000 subscribers before the end of the month. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss new content from me. In the meantime, take care, cheers, we'll see you later.